Yeah, we'll see you, Rocky. Yeah, we won't forget you. And thanks for the pants.
I want my dinner!
Now you're positive you haven't left anything out. Think, Cap, think. It's vitally important that you do what you say you can do, from balance sheets to earnings statements to trend reports and loan penetration. Tomorrow will come quickly, and if you've left out anything, you must tell me right away, or it could be.
Judge Wapner, People's Court.
Okay, second door on the left.
Barry Mason.
Okay, that's the third door on the left. Thank you.
Divorce court.
Okay, that's fourth door on the left. Thank you.
Night court.
Okay, that's fifth door on the left. Thank you.
Manson appeal.
Okay, that's sixth door on the left. Thanks.
The defendant, Credit Analysis Package, better known as CAP, has been charged with fraudulently claiming that it is a streamlined, fast, and efficient credit analysis tool for Farm Credit Bank. Mr. Mason, how does your client plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Bunn, would you please call your first witness?
The state calls Lieutenant Plague to the stand, Your Honor. Lieutenant Plague, would you please tell the court what exactly is your job?
Well, I work in computer homicide. You know, whenever banks or other businesses are getting killed by inefficient software systems, I'm called in to investigate.
Tell us what happened on the 15th of last month, Lieutenant, and why you were called.
I received a call from a Mr. Willie Prophet. He said he wanted to report that a PC-based software system called CAP was passing itself off as a great way for loan officers to do credit analysis.
What did you do then?
I went to see Mr. Prophet at Acme Software. He seemed pretty upset, angry.
And why was he upset?
He said that CAP was taking over everywhere. According to Prophet, CAP was claiming to do balance sheets, earnings statements, projected earnings statements, cash flows, even pro forma balance sheets, and a lot more.
In your opinion, Lieutenant, is that possible?
I've seen a lot of packages over the past 20 years, and they all make a lot of claims, and few can back them up. But to answer your question, no, I'm not aware of any system that can do all that CAP claimed.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Mason?
Lieutenant Plague, what is a hotkey calculator?
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Sustained.
Your Honor, I'm trying to establish the credibility of the witness concerning his knowledge of credit analysis software.
All right, Lieutenant, answer the question.
Well, I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that term.
You mean to tell us, Lieutenant, that you do not know that a hotkey calculator gives a loan officer the ability to calculate on the screen rather than having to hold a handheld calculator? Now, once you enter the number, there's no need to rekey it, and it saves time. Now, is it possible, Lieutenant, that you don't have the expertise in computer software to know whether my client can or cannot contain this feature?
Objection, Your Honor. Mr. Mason is badgering the witness.
Your Honor, if it please the court, I'm only trying to find out if the lieutenant is really a software expert, as the prosecution claims. If he's not familiar with certain PC terms, I don't see how he can state that no system can have the features that my client has.
Overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor. Lieutenant Plague, if you found a software package that was fast, powerful, convenient, flexible, easy to use, cost-effective, and saved you time, wouldn't you use it?
Of course they would.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You may step down, Lieutenant. Mr. Bunn, call your next witness.
The state calls Willie Profit to the stand. Mr. Profit, what is your occupation?
I'm an accountant at Acme Software and a part-time caddy at a miniature golf course.
On the 15th of last month, you called the computer police and spoke to Lieutenant Plague. Tell the court the reason you made the call.
Well, I couldn't take it anymore. This software system had completely taken over the Farm Credit Bank. Well, I mean, after all, I was afraid it was going to become a monster and convince all the loan officers that it was the best package around. It might make other software programs obsolete. I couldn't let that happen.
And do you see that software package in the courtroom? Mr. Profit, why do you feel CAP is lying about what it can do?
Well, first of all, it says that it automates the credit process for you. And that it's designed specifically for agricultural finance. Oh, yes. And CAP also says that it will print any report from the information that's already been put into its system.
And I suppose that it claims to save time and money because the system is tailored to the needs of each district. So there will be fewer changes in forms and procedures.
Objection, Your Honor. The prosecutor is leading the witness.
Sustained. Mr. Bunn, not to put your case in jeopardy, but would you please phrase your statements in the form of a question?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Profit, isn't it true that CAP will sometimes give you insufficient information?
That's right.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Mason?
Mr. Profit, you said that CAP will give you insufficient information. But isn't it a fact that any software package will only be as good as the information you put into it?
Well, I suppose that's true.
And isn't it true, Mr. Profit, that no system can make a credit decision for you? That it can only provide the information so that you can make the decision?
No, not at all. Many systems can.
Mr. Profit, you are considered somewhat of an expert in financial software, is that correct?
I like to think so.
Then wouldn't you be interested in a system that allows you to update client information without rekeying historical data?
I suppose.
And wouldn't you be interested in a system that would reduce paperwork, yet encompass the entire loan process to allow you to do complex credit analysis?
Probably.
And finally, Mr. Profit, wouldn't it be in your best interest as owner of Acme Software that my client should appear to be less than an ideal software package?
Objection, Your Honor. The witness is not on trial here.
Overruled. I believe the question has some relevance. Mr. Profit, please answer the question.
I ask you again, Mr. Profit, wouldn't it be in your best interest as owner of Acme Software that my client should appear to be less than an ideal software package?
No, not at all. I'm for anything that'll make a loan officer's job easier. Getting a little dry. Do you mind if I have a glass of ice water?
Ice water? Ice water? Did someone say ice water? Here, I'll give you an onion. That'll make you ice water.
Order! Order!
Order, order. I'll have a ham and Swiss on rye. I'll hold the mail. In fact, put mail in the clinic and send them to Rochester.
Any more outbursts like that, and I'm going to have to hold you in contempt.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor, but I would like the right to recall the witness at a later time.
All right, Mr. Mason, does the defense have a witness that it would like to call at this time?
The defense calls Mr. Neil Sinefron to the stand.
I've worked with many financial software systems. It helps to have one that can handle small, intermediate, and advanced loan analysis.
Can CAP do all three?
Oh, yeah, sure it can.
Mr. Sinefron, how long have you known CAP?
Since 1984. It was right after I became a loan officer. As I said, I've worked with other systems, but CAP is the best.
Objection, Your Honor. Opinion.
Sustained. The witness will answer the question and not use conjecture or opinion.
Why does CAP work so well for you?
Well, when I do balance sheets, CAP has 3 levels of information: summary, detail, and schedule. You can enter information at any level you wish. And with consolidated balance sheet and consolidated earnings, it allows you to record information for up to 10 members at a time. These modules are an excellent way of consolidating 2 or more individuals into a partnership or corporation.
What does the term cross-collateralization mean?
It associates assets with specific loans. An asset can be classified as primary or secondary collateral or left unassociated with a specific loan.
Mr. Sinefrin, do you recognize this?
Of course. It's the CAP pyramid showing its 3 levels of detail.
Your Honor, I'd like to enter this as evidence under People's Exhibit A. Mr. Sinefrin, where were you on the evening of the 15th of last month?
I was figuring financial figures at Frank and Fran Farmer's farm near Fairfield on Friday the 15th.
Would you repeat that?
I was figuring financial figures at Frank and Fran Farmer's farm near Fairfield on Friday the 15th.
May I remind you, Mr. Sinefrin, that you were under oath?
I was out there looking at a cash flow situation for them.
And why would you do that?
So that I could monitor their loan more closely and estimate what their peak balance would be. That way I could determine whether I have sufficient collateral to support the loan.
But I thought you used CAP. How could you be away from your office and still use it?
Oh, I took my portable computer out there with me, so I could complete the information out there using CAP, and I wouldn't have to go back to the office and rekey anything.
Mr. Sinefrin, I think the fact is that you were really using different software systems and only claim to use CAP because you have a vendetta against Willie Prophet. Isn't it true that almost 10 years ago, you and Mr. Prophet had a falling out over some video game ideas that you claim he stole from you? And now that you knew Mr. Prophet had brought charges against CAP, you thought it would be a good opportunity to get back at him.
No, that's a lie.
And that you might get favorable publicity and a chance to take advantage of any dirt thrown on Mr. Prophet's reputation during this case. You see, I know you have already filed suit against Mr. Prophet in this alleged video scam. No further questions, Your Honor. So you claim to be a theoretical expert in the study of time, light, and space. Kind of like a scientist, I would assume. Am I right, Albert? Mind if I call you Al?
Al is fine.
In your study on the physical properties of CAP, you described the defendant as powerful, convenient, flexible, time-efficient, cost-effective, easy to use, and fast. So what do you mean by fast?
Well,
Is it faster than a bunny rabbit?
Well, it's comparable to...
Faster than a speeding bullet?
Well, it could definitely challenge the boundaries of...
Faster than the speed of light?
Well, given the gravitational effects of objects in space-time, nothing is as fast as the speed of light.
Aha! So when you get right down to it, Cap really isn't all that fast.
Objection, Your Honor. The prosecution is attempting to discredit my witness. The word fast is a relative term.
Relative? Did you say relative? Now, there's something else I'd like to explain. Let me elaborate.
Well, I don't think the court...
For years, the Newtonian theory of gravity maintained that objects attracted each other with a force that was dependent on the distance between them. But you see, gravity is not a force like other forces, but a consequence of the fact that space-time is not flat, but warped according to the distribution of mass and energy. Of course, another prediction of general relativity is that time should appear to move slower near a massive body like the Earth. There's a relationship between the energy of light and its frequency. Do you understand this, Mr. Prosecutor? And So while my findings of EMC squared are valid, and with all modesty I must add quite remarkable as well, I must admit it pales in comparison to my findings of the physical properties of CAP. CAP is an extraordinary PC software package.
Mr. Einstein, Al, is it not true that you flunked out of high school? Keep in mind that I have your school records and you were under oath.
Yes, it's true.
No further questions.
You may step down, Mr. Einstein.
Well, it was that darn political science course. Multiple choice tests are too ambiguous. Everyone graded on a bell-shaped curve. My advisor encouraged me to take a shop class, but no.
Is this your computer, Ms. Laws?
I believe so. Oh, yes, it is. See? Here's Lieutenant Blake's mark on it.
Now, this computer, marked Defense Exhibit B, is the one that you claim CAP could not perform many of the functions that it claims. We had ballistics examine it and found it to be of high caliber. Yet, in your testimony, in the statement that you gave to police, you stated that it was not working correctly on the night of the 15th or any other time that you used CAP.
That's correct. So I've been using another software package instead.
I suppose that you need dependability when you do debt repayment analysis.
What?
Debt repayment analysis, Ms. Laws. Aren't you aware that you need debt repayment analysis to see the operation's ability to repay the loan? It provides repayment history and future ability to pay back a loan. And that by using CAP, you reduce rekeying and can get more in-depth analysis.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting a little hungry. Let's take a recess and reconvene in 2 hours.
Well, what do you think, Barry?
I'm not sure, but I think there's something phony about Ms. Laws. In your earlier testimony, Mr. Sinefrin, you stated that you tried other agricultural finance systems before CAP.
I sure did. A lot of forgettable ones. But the last one I used, before CAP I mean, claimed to do it all. It was a real disappointment. It had many, many modules and subsystems, but it was too difficult to use. And I had to rekey so much I could have been a locksmith.
Do you remember who made that package?
No, I don't. It made too many mistakes. I need a system where I can do large calculations without human error, and CAP lets me do that.
How well do you know Ada Loss?
Well, she started working for me a few years ago. My partner, Mr. Wynn, wanted somebody that was familiar with and could work with financial software packages, and Ms. Laws had applied for a job 2 weeks earlier, and so then I hired her.
How competent would you say she is about the software?
She's very competent. She can do balance sheets, security and trend reports, projected earnings statements. She found CAP to be of little use in credit analysis.
Did she advise you as to what software packages you should use?
Well, I would ask her opinion from time to time, but like I said, she had a lot of experience in all types of financial software.
Is it not true, Mr. Prophet, that your relationship with Ms. Laws is more than that of employer-employee?
What are you getting at?
What I'm getting at is that you knew Ms. Laws long before you hired her at Acme. You met her when she worked making change at Bird's Video Emporium and Tanning Parlor on State Street.
Yeah, well, what does that got to do with anything?
Oh, it has a lot to do with how well you knew Ms. Laws and why she might get on the witness stand and lie for you.
What are you trying to prove?
Only that she was hired at Acme because of your relationship and not for her competence.
That's a lie. She really knows her computers.
Oh, come now, Mr. Prophet. I think you know what I'm getting at. Your relationship with Ms. Laws was, how shall I say this, in computer terms, very user-friendly.
Objection, Your Honor. How is any of this relevant?
Overruled. I really want to see where Mr. Mason is going with this. And Mr. Bunn, please do not interrupt, especially during the good parts. Mr. Prophet, please answer the question.
All right. All right, I did know Ms. Laws before she came to Acme. And I did meet her at the Video Emporium. You see, I have this problem.
Go on.
I'm a videoholic.
Which is?
Somebody who's addicted to video games. I got hooked a long time ago. First, it was asteroids, and Pac-Man, and computer games. I couldn't help myself. Then I met Anna, Ms. Loss. She helped me get into treatment. She even came to see me at the clinic. She helped me through this whole thing.
So you decided to continue the affair by hiring her at Acme.
She was hired because she could do the job.
And I could see that he had a problem, but that's all that was involved.
Ms. Laws, have you really used Cap for any length of time? Have you used it enough to give it a fair chance?
Of course I did. Look, I need a software that can store historical balance sheets and earnings information for at least 3 years.
Your Honor, let the record show that Cap can store information for up to 5 years. Now, Ms. Laws, do you do net worth reconciliation with your software?
Well, not really. I don't think it's that important.
Not important? Don't you think that it's imperative that you check the accuracy of the information your client gave you? What if it's a really large loan? Don't you feel that it's a very important need for a software package? And it's a need that the defendant performs very well.
Well, now that you put it that way, I guess it could be important.
What is a batch module?
A what?
A batch module. Come now, Ms. Loss, if you really gave Cap a chance, you would know that the batch module prints reports that were saved as data files when the reports were run.
Yes, I guess you're right.
Can you give information collected in Cap to other related systems?
Well, I really don't know. You're confusing me.
Oh, well, you should know. You should know that Cap has that import-export option.
Well, yes, well, I think it has that option.
Ms. Laws, what is the name of the software package that you are currently using for agricultural financing?
It's called Mega One.
And who came up with that software package?
I believe it was Ajax Software.
That's correct, Miss Laws. And did you know that Ajax Software is a pseudonym for Acme Software? Did you know that the very same agricultural financial software you use was actually stolen by Willis Prophet from Neil Sinefren and used as his own creation?
I don't believe that.
And did you know that the very same package that Mr. Sinefren stated that he had trouble with before he used Cap is the one that you are using now and are claiming is the best?
Well, it is the best.
Oh, come now, Ms. Laws. Mr. Sinefren couldn't use it because it was too difficult and didn't have the capabilities of Cap. How can you deny that Cap is better? Ms. Laws, I don't think that you're an expert on software at all. I don't think that you know a floppy disk from a space bar.
Yes, it's true. I'm sorry, Willie, but I am using inferior software and Cap is the best. But Willie made me use it. He said if I didn't, he'd tell the police about a computer virus attack I was involved in years ago. He took Sinefren's ideas and made some changes and claimed it for Acme.
Liar! She's lying! I may have gotten some ideas from other software, but Mega One is mine. All mine.
Your Honor, I have here a sworn affidavit from Mr. Prophet's partner, Lucky Wynn, that Mega One is based on software stolen from Neil Sinefren. And Mr. Prophet evidently has been stealing software from other companies.
All right, I admit it. I borrowed some ideas and made them better. And I would do it again.
Your Honor, we have two testimonies. One's a win, the other's a loss. But they both say the same thing.
I agree, Mr. Mason.
In light of the testimony we have just heard, I move that all charges against the defendant be dropped.
Does the state have any objection, Mr. Bunn?
The state has no objection, Your Honor.
Case dismissed.
What's this?
Looks like a message from our little friend Cap. The printout reads, "Thank you, Mr. Mason. Bill me."
That was awfully nice of Cap. So, Della, how about dinner?
Now there's an offer I can't refuse. Oh, by the way, Barry, how did you know they were both lying?
Della, you should know by now, you can't always trust your profit and loss statements. Unless you use Cap.